Finding meaning in this incredibly chaotic and turbulent world is easier said than done. It's a daunting task for us to attempt to achieve. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I found meaning in my life in the aftermath of a major bipolar manic episode that disrupted my life. For those who aren't familiar with mania, I'll give a brief synopsis of what it's like, the characteristics of it, how it impacts the people who suffer from it. Mania is a frenzied state of mind where the mind is just operating much faster than it typically would. And common traits you'll notice in people suffering from mania is that they'll talk fast, they'll have disorganized speech, they'll have what's known as flight of ideas, disrupted thinking, sleep disturbance, a whole myriad of things. And paranoid delusions often accompany mania, which would constitute psychosis. And hallucinations can even accompany mania. In my manic episode, I suffered both delusions and hallucinations. My paranoid delusions, in particular, got me hospitalized relatively early on in my manic episode. And we see hospitals as a place of recovery, as a place that grant us the opportunity to become better, healthier. Unfortunately, in this instance, for myself, the hospital only escalated my mania and made it worse. I wasn't put on any medications. I was released without any kind of contingency plan to monitor my health, no follow-up with any doctors or psychiatrists of anything of the sort. And so I was on my own, battling mania, battling my paranoid delusions about government agents and my fraternity raping people and a whole bunch of other things that just weren't going on, but in my mind they were true. And this manic episode often made me very angry. I was very angry and upset. I felt very lonely. I felt like I was betrayed, that nobody believed me about the things that was going on. And can you really blame them? Because everything that was coming from my mouth was nonsensical. None of it was grounded in reality. So I don't harbor any ill will for the people that did not concur with my delusions or other distorted beliefs from that moment in time. I probably would have done the same thing at that moment in time. Because at the end of the day, the people who saw my mania were all 20-year-old somethings, and they're not mental health experts. I'm not a mental health expert. I can only speak from my own experience and speak to the lessons that I've learned from my experience. And in my experience, mania is just an extra dose of chaos. I say extra dose because this world is already chaotic, and mania triggers even more chaos, but it does it internally, directly into your own mind. So you now have a chaotic person dealing with a chaotic world, and the chaotic mind wants to solve the problems of the chaotic world, but how can you do that when you can't even solve the problems going on inside of your own head? And that's the problem with mania. Many consequences arose from my manic episode. I got expelled by my college fraternity, and so I lost all my friends and social relationships, and I had many countless nights of losing sleep in the aftermath during my depressive episode because of the disappointment I had about myself. Strong feelings of disappointment. I was disappointed in the way I spoke to people, disappointed in the way I conducted and acted around others. I missed every element of that life every single day. I got expelled by my university. I lost my full-time job. So I lost my source of income. I lost my education and future prospects of higher earning potential, all because of one manic episode. So in the aftermath, after all this transpired, getting expelled by my fraternity, getting expelled by my university, losing my full-time job. How do I find meaning now? Well, at first, I didn't. At first, I didn't even want to live anymore. I was so upset and distraught with this ordeal, this traumatizing ordeal, that I didn't even want to be alive. Thankfully, with medication, persistence, and the passage of time, I no longer harbor those sentiments, but they existed, and it's just part of my history that I have to acknowledge, come to terms with, and be at peace with. And I am at peace with that, because I understand why I was so hard on myself. But the way I find meaning now is in keeping things simple. Taking things one day at a time, sometimes 1 hour at a time, if necessary. Because I don't want to overwhelm myself and trigger another manic episode and erase all the progress that I made, because I've come so far. I'm working a job for the first time in 2 years. Talking with my former university about the possibility of getting reinstated as a student so I could finish my last few credits and earn my college degree and then get a better job. I've reached out to and connected with friends who I had interactions with during my mania, and they've all forgiven me and accepted my apologies, and they've been fully understanding of the situation I've gone through. My relationships with family have been restored. My relationship with my mother has been restored. So I have a lot to be thankful for. And I owe it to simplicity for these things being allowed to happen. I didn't reach out to all my friends at once. I reached out one at a time. I didn't want to overwhelm myself. I didn't jump into a schedule of a high amount of hours right when I started working. I didn't want to overwhelm myself. When I first started going outside again after my manic episode, because there was an extended period of time where I stayed indoors and socially isolated. But when I first went outside again, I did it for extremely limited amounts of time because I didn't want to overwhelm myself. I kept things simple. And now, things that used to interest me, I've started doing again. I've started playing Call of Duty again. I've started reading again. I've started going to the gym again. And I'm working again. I'm grateful for that. And that's how I give my life meaning. I keep things simple. I live in the moment. I try not to be too hard on myself now, but I understand why I was in the past. That's it, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate y'all stopping by. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And everybody hit that like button so that more people can see this video. For those of you who are new here, I have more than 50 videos on my channel where I talk about my experiences with bipolar disorder. I'd love for you to check them out if you haven't seen them already. I've talked about a wide array of topics and delineated various experiences of mine for others to share and learn from. And I hope that you find them insightful, because that's my purpose in this. It's to inspire, to spread insight, to help others learn, to spread awareness and understanding so that we can be more accepting of this condition and be better allies to those who have it. So whether you have bipolar disorder or not, there's a benefit to watching these videos, because we can make the world a happier, more understanding, and accepting place. Thank you all for watching. My name is Tyler Adolfo. Hope you all have a wonderful day.